I didn't know how to ask for money for myself, okay? Without getting paid for some reason, I don't know why I couldn't ask for money for myself. I guess because of the resistance and blocks that I had incurred, over the years. So, when I was on the job, I was always feeling like I wanted to get out of this job. I would cry miserably, go in the restroom, just to get a peace of mind. And being harassed on jobs, maybe you had someone jealous, you had someone who was, I don't know, just was a bully. You know how it is when you're working, you have to deal with people. And so I couldn't do my own thing. I knew I had talents and abilities, but I didn't know how to, get my life in order, position myself where I could pivot out of a job. And that took a while to be able to transition and to do that. Okay. And so I wanted so badly to impact the world with my message. Okay. And I wanted to, do that with speaking. But before we go there, I wanted to go back to in my childhood, I had a fear of embarrassment because some instances, you know, I guess there's a saying in Black culture that if you embarrass me somewhere, then you're going to get embarrassed. Like if you take a child into the store and they fall out screaming or, being disobedient or rude or sassy or whatever in public or in front of people, the saying is that if you embarrass me, you're going to get embarrassed. And so, you get spanked sometimes. We didn't really get a whole lot of spankings. I could probably count on one hand how many times I actually got spanked, but that was always, embedded in your brain. And so that created a perfectionistic attitude in me where I didn't want to screw up anything. I walked on pins and needles. I didn't want to be embarrassed. So trying to perfect everything, which causes stress, and I didn't want to mess up anything. I remember a couple of times, doing the wrong thing growing up, and I would get screamed and yelled at, and that translated into having a perfectionistic attitude and being visible, not wanting to be seen, and creating those blocks, fear of rejection, self sabotage, doubting, and in relationships. So, as far as relationships, I remember, my ex husband who I became really ill, really sick, like bedridden. I couldn't even move. And so, I don't know. I thought maybe, was he tampering with my food or something? I wasn't sure. So I removed myself. But in doing that, he didn't want me to leave. He wasn't abusive or anything, but he wanted us to stay together, and I didn't want that. So he was continually, trying to get me to stay, and I'd go get a job, and he'd be on my job, and be waiting in the parking lot to talk, and I get an apartment, and he would start, coming by, and I probably had like, I don't know, 19 jobs. I probably had like, I don't know, 15. I don't know how many apartments, just on the go, moving, constantly on the go, so that trying to get away from just him not able to accept no, that the relationship was over, right? And that created a visibility block where I didn't want to be seen because I had been in hiding for so long, right? And it felt unsafe to be seen. It felt unsafe to be visible. And that carried and leaked over into my business world, because we know that visibility, showing up with value and making offers is what gets you money on the table, what gets all the money off the table, okay? And that was a thing for me. And so, I was in the military as well. And in the military, this was a big one for me, okay? I was stationed at the Air Force Academy. It was my tour of duty. I was a cardiovascular, respiratory, pulmonary. Um, I ended up, instructing. And so I remember I was in cardiology and I picked up the phone and I said, cardiology, this is Airman Wyatt. How can I help you? And there was a general on the other end and he said, who is this? I said, this is Airman Wyatt, sir. How may I help you? He said, Airman, you give that phone to someone else and you don't ever let me catch you answering the phone again. And it was at that very moment that I discovered that there's something wrong. Why did he say that, right? And so I went to the restroom and I took a break to try to analyze and see why would he tell me that, right? Anybody else could answer the phone. He doesn't want me to answer the phone. And I was young too, right? And I thought, maybe it's my voice. I do come from Texas. I do have this Texas twang going on. I do come from, poverty. Maybe I'm probably speaking Ebonics, right? And improper English. And so I said, you know what? Nobody will ever say that to me again because it hurt, And I started working on myself. I go to the library every day after work. I buy vocabulary books, boosting my vocabulary. This was before I went to college, right? I went into the military. And so I go to the library after work. I read books. I started watching. They had VCRs, the videotapes back then. This was the 80s. And so, well, the late 80s, 89, 90. And so I pop in the videotapes and I watch news anchor women and men, how they speak, because I heard that they have a national dialect. You can't tell what part of the country they're from because they have a national dialect. And so I said, that's how I'm going to, talk. And so um, I went every day after work. I write down my vocabulary and I would study to make sure that I knew my vocabulary. I get in the mirror and I would practice with my audio. I turn my audio off and then I'd practice with my body language. Like, what am I doing? Like, I'm doing this with my hands, right? I'd practice that, see how it looked, how I felt comfortable. And it was very uncomfortable. The main thing that stuck out to me, and I cried about this because I said, you know what? I'm going to have to shed myself. I'm going to have to get rid of the old me, create, reinvent a new me, and let the old me dissolve and go away. And I did not want to let myself be reinvented for the purpose of success because I felt like I was betraying my culture. I liked who I was. I liked saying ain't and can't and all of that, right? I loved who I was. But I said, you know what? This isn't going to work here because I'm amongst the best elite in the world and I have to be able to adapt and conform. And I didn't want that because, I was still a soldier at heart. I'm still I didn't want to die so quickly to myself for the purpose of success. But I had to if I was going to survive in the military, right? And I started saying my S's, my EDs, my INGs because I never had done that before. Like saying, looking, that felt like so uncomfortable and so unnatural, but I forced myself through it and it felt so fake to me. But later on, this is my true self, right? I eventually adapted a style, and after you do something repetitively so long, it becomes you, right? And I did lose that feeling of losing myself over time. So it's naturally me now, but it was a hard process to convert and transition to, right? For the sake of success. But I said I want to go back and help my mom and my sibling my sister and my brother wasn't born yet, but I wanted to go back and help us, right? Improve our condition. And so I did it. And I would study every day, practice moving my lips, practice speaking, and it was very uncomfortable to say the least. And then also, now, like after I had my kids, I wanted to show my children that dreams do come true. If you stick with it, focus on where you want to go, where you want to be, not where you don't want to be or where you don't want to go. And so that's what I honed all my attention on, to show my babies that if you stick with it, you can do it. Dreams do come true, right? And you are the author of your reality, right? That's what I teach my babies. And so I had to change the mindset, the visibility, the self-sabotage, all of the things that go with, asking for money. So I wanted to also impact others and help people, right? I wanted to, yes, get my message out. I want to impact others, help people. And so that's why I'm here now. So I want to teach people how to make money because I'm tired of seeing people, who go to work every day, who cry at work, who come home and just don't know where to start or how to put their life together and organize their life for the sake of getting their message out, for helping others, for using their expertise and passion, their knowledge or message. Whatever it is that you have, you don't want to die with your message in you. And that was my thing. I said, I'm not going to die with my message still in me because I don't want to die with my message still alive inside of me, right? When I die. And when I get to God, I said, I wanted to have something in my hand to offer the Creator to show my gratefulness and thankfulness for occupying the planet. I wanted to go back with something in hand and to show that I helped others, right? And that yes, I helped others, but I flew, right? I spread my wings. I used all my potential. I used everything in me, my talents and abilities and everything that was given and pushed in me. I gave it out to the world, right? Selflessly and without, harshness, I'll say. But I gave myself selflessly to the world with my talents and abilities, all for the love of God, Jesus, right? And so that's what I'm hoping to bring to the platform, the online platform, right? That's what I am bringing. And so